Hello, I'm Raymond Go, and this is Nightline. News making the headlines. EPF to launch i-Sayang facility in the first quarter of 2022. And BKC payment for Phase 2 to be disbursed from Thursday. Good morning. We begin with this story. A giant plume of black smoke rising over the Kuala Lumpur skyline shocked city folks and road users during the evening peak hour traffic on Tuesday. It was due to a massive fire which broke out at a used auto parts workshop located at Jalan Kampung Pasir, Taman Segambut at around 6 p.m. The bellowing thick smoke was also visible all the way from Petaling Jaya, Sentul and various parts of the city. Startling videos of the huge smoke and fire also went viral on social media, with some eyewitnesses saying they could hear explosions from the premises. City Fire and Rescue Department Operations Commander Muhammad Ridwan Kamaruzzaman said a distress call was received at 6:50 p.m. A total of 83 firefighters from 8 fire stations were deployed to the scene and managed to douse the flames by 10 p.m. No casualty was reported so far. However, the premises was 90% destroyed. Secondary checks and reassessment were also carried out by the firemen to ensure the fire has been completely extinguished. Authorities also said the cause of the incident and amount of losses are still being investigated. The incident also caused heavy traffic congestion along the Duta Ulu Klang Expressway, or Duke, near the exit heading towards Selayang. The Employees Provident Fund, EPF, will launch the i-Sayang facility in the first quarter of 2022. The move is part of the EPF's ongoing efforts to improve the livelihood of the people. According to its chairman, Tan Sri Ahmad Badri Muhammad Zahir, the facility will allow for the voluntary transfer of 2% EPF contributions by a contributor to his wife's account to help boost her savings.
Another interesting facility to the EPF is set to launch is the i-Lindung facilities, which allow the withdrawal from account to purchase the life and critical illness insurance through the EPF platform.
He said this at the 9th International Social Wellbeing Conference 2021, which was held virtually and officiated by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob on Tuesday. Tan Sri Ahmad Badri added that the retirement fund is also exploring other initiatives, including the gradual approach towards mandating legal EPF coverage to non-agriculture informal sector workers. It will also be advocating its voluntary excess scheme, where members can compel their employers to increase their EPF contributions to more than the 11% statutory rate. At the same event, Datuk Sri Ismail said that the new and innovative social protection solutions are urgently required to strike a balance between the provision of safety nets, promote financial resilience and human capital development. He also urged policymakers to recognize the role of social protection in promoting social well-being by crafting effective policies that consider voices of the rakyat.
More collaborative efforts by the public and private sectors are also vital to form strong synergies between social security organizations, relevant stakeholders and policymakers. Quick responses are required to uplift the community, promote rights and bridge social protection gaps in the country, especially for informal economy workers, housewives or unpaid family workers such as caregivers.
The Prime Minister also gave his reassurance that the government is committed to strengthen and increase research activities under the Malaysia Social Protection Council, MySPC. The council serves as a centralized coordinating body to develop a comprehensive national social security approach based on life cycle needs, which encompasses effective and efficient policies, as well as backed by credible, broad-based, inclusive infrastructure and legal framework. At another function, Datuk Sri Ismail stressed that Malaysia has the capacity and capability to achieve 100% digital inclusivity, especially among the vulnerable communities, in its effort to bridge the digital divide. The Prime Minister said efficient and effective utilization of technologies could drive the nation's economic growth by leveraging on public-private partnership projects.
Strengthening this partnership and forging new collaboration with private sector will ensure Malaysia's place as a top regional destination for investor and trigger rapid growth of the digital economy.
Datuk Sri Ismail said this when launching Huawei Customer Solution Innovation Centre, CSIC, in Kuala Lumpur on Tuesday. He added that such a move would reduce the government's expenditure and improve delivery of public facilities and services, as well as encourage innovation and economies of scale. He said under the 12th Malaysia Plan, the focus on strengthening growth enablers would continue to be given priority, especially in the technology and innovation sectors. He also pointed out that the digital economy was expected to contribute 25.5% to Malaysia's gross domestic product by 2025. The government is prepared to face the eventuality of a fourth wave of COVID-19 infection in the country following the Malacca state election last Saturday. Second Deputy Health Minister Dato' Aaron Argo Dagang, however, said that the situation is still under observation as the possible effects of the virus can only be detected after 10 to 14 days.
Kerajaan memang tahu dan kita pun telah bersiap sedia untuk menghadapi yang kemungkinan akan jadi dan gelombang keempat mungkin akan berlaku di negara kita ini. Ini yang kita khawatir dan pilihan di Sarawak pun kita akan mengadakan SOP yang begitu yang akan dapat mengekang penularan COVID ini dengan SOP yang begitu ketat.
He said this during the question and answer session in the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday. Meanwhile, to an oral question from Sungai Buloh MP R. Sivarasa on the outcome of the Health Ministry's monitoring of COVID-19 vaccine recipients, Dato' Aaron said there have been no death cases that can be directly linked to COVID-19 vaccines administered during the implementation period of the National Immunization Program, PIC, from February 24th until November 20th. He said this was the outcome of the casualty assessment through the postmortems, although there were 535 reported deaths among the vaccine recipients during that period.
Juga hanya 1,549 laporan dikategorikan sebagai serius, iaitu bersama dengan 0.03 laporan bagi setiap 1,000 dos yang diberi. Di mana mereka ini dimasukkan ke hospital untuk pemantauan dan rawatan lanjut bagi beberapa hari.
Payment for Phase 2 of COVID-19 Special Assistance, or BKC, will be disbursed from Thursday, involving an allocation of 300 million ringgit. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the second payment would involve 700,000 households, single individuals and senior citizens who belong to the poor category. In a statement on Tuesday, Datuk Sri Ismail said the payment will be credited into their bank accounts or through Bank Simpanan Nasional BSN branches. Members of the public who wish to check the approval status can do so through the BKC portal. Under the BKC Hardcore Poor category, households will receive 1,300 ringgit, while single senior citizens and singles will each receive 500 ringgit. He also said the next payment, Phase 3 of the BKC, will be disbursed according to schedule in December, involving an allocation of 1.2 billion ringgit for 3.8 million households comprising the poor and B40 group. BKC is part of the National People's Wellbeing and Economic Recovery Package Initiative, PEMULE, in addition to payments under the Economic Stimulus Package. On June 28th, the government announced the PEMULE package as one of the initiatives to provide comprehensive assistance to the people in overcoming the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Immigration Department has relaxed several conditions for the labour recalibration plan. Its Director General, Datuk Khairul Zaimi Daud, said the relaxed conditions were set following joint meetings with the Home Ministry and Human Resources Ministry. In a statement on Tuesday, Datuk Khairul said the conditions are that 70% of the approval quota will be taken from the total number verified by the Enforcement Division, while 30% will be subjected to decisions by the Labour Department of Peninsular Malaysia. He added approvals for employers to join the program within the construction, agriculture, industrial, trade and services sectors, including their subsectors, have now been expanded to include other approved sectors. The conditions for eligible illegal immigrants have also been expanded to include holders of expired long-term visit passes, while the age limit for eligible undocumented workers has also been extended to 49. New employers may apply online at the department website to join the program. The Labour Recalibration Program was implemented to allow employers in certain sectors such as construction, manufacturing, plantation, agriculture and services to legally employ undocumented foreign workers. The Repatriation Recalibration Program, on the other hand, is to allow undocumented immigrants to volunteer to return to their respective home countries. Still to come on Nightline, Najib to know fate on SRC appeal on December 8th. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Nightline. The government, through the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, will continue with high-impact campaigns such as the Buy Malaysian Products campaign, KBBM, and Mega Sales Program, PJM. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said such campaigns will be intensified next year to boost the potential of local products and give positive impact to the domestic economy.
PJM pula turut mencatatkan prestasi seperti yang disasarkan. Sasaran nilai jualan sebanyak 100 bilion ringgit pada suku keempat tahun 2020 telah berjaya dicapai dengan mencatatkan nilai jualan sebanyak 135.9 bilion ringgit.
He said this in his speech at the Domestic Trade Awards 2020 at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre on Tuesday night. Sales of Malaysian-made goods under the KBBM for 2020 reached 3.3 billion ringgit compared to 2.87 billion in 2019. The Court of Appeal in Putrajaya has set December 8th for the decision on former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak's appeal against his conviction and sentence for misappropriation of SRC International Sdn Bhd funds. The Chief Registrar of the Federal Court's Office, in a statement on Tuesday, stated that the decision will be delivered at 9 a.m. The statement said the hearing of the appeal before a three-judge panel led by Dato' Abdul Karim Abdul Jalil lasted for 15 days and was completed last May 18th. The other two judges are Dato' Has Zana Mehat and Dato' Wazir Alam Maidin Mira. Datuk Seri Najib filed the appeal against the Kuala Lumpur High Court's decision on July 28th last year in sentencing him to 12 years jail and a fine of 210 million ringgit after finding him guilty of 7 charges involving criminal breach of trust, CBT, money laundering and abuse of position involving SRC International funds totaling 42 million ringgit. Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali sentenced Datuk Seri Najib to 10 years in prison for each of the 3 CBT charges and 3 money laundering cases, as well as 12 years in prison and a fine of 210 million ringgit or 5 years in prison for 1 charge of abuse of position. The court also allowed Datuk Seri Najib's application to stay the execution of the decision pending the disposal of his appeal with bail of 2 million ringgit in 2 sureties. In Selangor, 2 teenagers are among 6 people facing the gallows after they were charged at 2 separate Klang Magistrates' Court over the murder of a 47-year-old illegal moneylender, or Along, earlier this month. 27-year-old Tan Ah Chai and 36-year-old Yo Ching Lian, as well as Lau Zi Hui and Yap Sun Kwan, aged 19 and 18 respectively, were charged before Magistrate P. Sarulata under the Penal Code for murdering 47-year-old Phua Kian Meng. They allegedly committed the offence in Bandar Bukit Tinggi on November 6th. Another 2 men, Tan Yong Seng and Gan Kok Shang, aged 38 and 43, were charged before Magistrate Amirul Abdul Rashid for abetting 4 others with intent of committing murder at the same location. No plea was recorded and both courts fixed January 31st for case mention. In Negeri Sembilan, a chief security guard and an unemployed man were charged in the Port Dickson Magistrates' Court with murder, abduction and for impersonating as policemen. M. Murugan and Wong Yung Kwan, aged 44 and 43, as well as 3 others who are still at large, allegedly abducted and murdered a technician, 39-year-old A. Vasudevan, on November 13th this year. Both men pleaded not guilty to the charges, including impersonating as policemen, to the victim's wife, 38-year-old S. Hindu Mathi, at the same place and time. The court set December 23rd for mention of the cases. Elsewhere in Perak, an unemployed man was charged in the Ipoh Magistrates Court with the murder of his elderly aunt. 40-year-old Au Kim Wah only nodded after the charge was read out to him before Magistrate Nor Azrin Liana Muhammad Darus, who set January 24th next year for mention of the case. The accused was charged with the murder of 73-year-old Au Fung Meng last November 9th. Children among dozens dead in bus crash. Details when we return. Nightline continues on to the foreign front now. At least 45 people, including 12 children, have died after a bus crashed and caught fire in western Bulgaria. Officials said the incident happened on a highway southwest of the capital Sofia at about 2 a.m. local time, and the coach party had been returning to the capital Skopje from a weekend holiday trip to the Turkish city of Istanbul. The bus was registered in North Macedonia and was mainly carrying tourists from the country. Officials said the bus appeared to have hit a highway barrier, and pictures showed a section of the road where the barrier had been shorn off. It was unclear if the bus had caught fire and then crashed or burst into flames after crashing. 7 people escaped from the bus and were taken to hospital with burns. No other vehicles were involved in the accident. Germany's health minister called on Tuesday for further restrictions in the country to contain a dramatic surge in coronavirus cases. This as the country's infection rate hit a record high and the United States advised against travel there. According to data from the Robert Koch Institute for Infectious Diseases, the 7-day incidence rate, the number of people per 100,000 to be infected over the last week, hit 399.8 on Tuesday, up from 386.5 on Monday, prompting Health Minister Jens Spahn to call for more public spaces to be restricted to those who were vaccinated or recently recovered from COVID-19 and also had a negative test in the bid to contain Germany's 4th wave. Spahn did not rule out lockdowns, although she said this would be decided region by region. Some regions, such as the hard-hit Saxony and Bavaria, are also taking measures, such as cancelling Christmas markets. The surge in cases in Germany and in neighbouring Denmark prompted the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Monday to advise against travel to the two countries, raising its travel recommendation to level 4, which is very high. After this break, Lewandowski among favourites to bag Best Player award. Sports badminton, the Indonesian Open. Fit again world number 7 Lee Zijia has suffered a demoralizing first-round exit on Tuesday. In a rematch of last week's opening round of the Indonesian Masters against Denmark's Rasmus Gamke, Zijia lost 21-13, 23-25, 16-21 after a 67-minute battle. Zijia was left kicking himself for failing to capitalize on the 12-8 lead before squandering 2 match points at 20-19 and 21-20 to pave the way for his opponent to make a comeback. Exactly 1 week ago, the All-England champion threw in the towel after trailing Gamke 9-11 in the opening game, as he had not fully recovered from a back injury sustained during the Hilo Open final in Germany 2 weeks ago. Turning to football now, Robert Lewandowski is in the running to retain his Best FIFA Men's Player award after he was named Monday on an 11-man shortlist alongside Karim Benzema and Jorginho. Joining Lewandowski and Benzema are perennial candidates Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo among the nominees, with Neymar, Mohamed Salah and Kylian Mbappe also up for a prize first awarded in 2017. Erling Haaland, N'Golo Kante and Kevin De Bruyne complete the list of potential winners. 4 Barcelona players are included on the Women's Best Player shortlist: Alexia Putellas, Jennifer Hermoso, Aitana Bonatti and Caroline Graham Hansen. Thomas Tuchel is a front-runner for Best Men's Coach after leading Chelsea to the Champions League title. He faces competition from Roberto Mancini, the mastermind of Italy's Euro 2020 triumph. Other nominees are Hansi Flick, Pep Guardiola, Antonio Conte, Diego Simeone and Argentina boss Lionel Scaloni. This time around, let's take a look at this craftsman based in Padang Panjang, Indonesia, transforming waste glass into detailed artwork. With that, I'm Raymond Goh. Thank you for watching and stay safe.